All right, so I'm getting put on the spot here at Acero Gym with Amy and Jono Castano. Hi guys, it's Daine here. I'm just here at the awesome Acero Gym with Amy and Jono doing a development session with the team on leads, longevity and loyalty in the fitness industry. So sit back, enjoy the show.
You're going to edit that later and be like, Hey, how y'all doing? It's AMC here, and today we have our education, Acero education.
Three things I want to go through today. How to help you guys create a win-win for you and them, i.e. Acero, right? So back when I had gyms, we had like 3 sites and probably about 55, 60 coaches working through, right? And my big thing, as I know it is with Amy and Jono, is to kind of create a win-win environment for you guys whilst you're here, understanding that, sometimes after 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, you might go on and do your own thing. And I'm sure Amy and Jono would say, that's cool, and it's actually something that's encouraged because I think, knowing them and how I am as well, it's like, always wanting to empower people to be their best selves and do what they need to do in their career, but also knowing that sometimes it might be a time to go on their own path. So really kind of helping you guys create a win-win for you both. Why being of service to others will come back to you guys in spades, that's a big one. And then pretty much how to stand the test of time. I think you were speaking about Sebastian before. Sebastian and I go way back, and he talks about it a lot. He became an overnight success in 20 years. Right? So for those, hands up again if you're under 5 years in the industry. Under 5? Yeah, 5, 3, you're still at the beginning of the journey, really. If you want longevity in the industry, what do you need more of? You want to give a crack at it? There's probably a few things.
Plan.
Yeah, well that's one, right? Because you're not going to have much of a business, but I kind of look at it like this. You need, this is like eyeballs, right? You get results, you build the experience, you get referrals, etc. That builds loyalty, which sounds like a lot of what you guys have. And then ultimately over time that's going to build longevity. But honestly, the tip of the spear is up here. Really. Because at the end of the day, none of this can happen if you can't attract clients. Right? I was going through some of the data and having discussions with Amy. I think 60% of all of the leads in this business, where do you think they come from?
Word of mouth.
Jono. One person. It's a lot, right? And Jono's a great example of someone who has kind of gone through this process, right? I think people look at Jono or look at myself and okay, fuck, you guys have done X, Y, Z. They don't forget. They forget that we started sitting here. We started sitting here, learning, right? It's just come through a lot of repetition and time under the bar. So cold content is pretty much where you're just giving free value in exchange for nothing, right? So you're not referring to your services, you're not talking about anything that you offer, you're just giving free value. Warm content is pretty much where you're showcasing content, right? Transformations, things like that. And then hot content is that's fun, right? Buy my shit. I always say this is the analogy. It's up here we're at a bar, nice to meet you, talking about yourself. Here's a bit of foreplay. Here's come back to the crowd. Are you the type of coach that on a Sunday messages your clients, even though you're not obliged to check if they've prepped their meals or if they're ready to start the week hard again on Monday morning or whatever it might be, right? It could be you have a 45-minute session booked in, but you, after the session, you take them for a coffee or something across the street just to kind of speak to them outside of the session, right? Whatever that might be. Relationships matter, and especially for you guys as coaches, I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. most coaches arguably play some of the most intimate, important roles in their clients' lives. I used to know everything about my clients when I was a coach. Sometimes to the point of being fucking awkward, right? But people come for the results; they stay for the experience. Those micro moments, those connection points, are what keep you with 80% of your books being consistent. And loyalty equals reconversion, and reconversion equals lifetime value, right? So it's like loyalty is key. Now, with that, we found based on the data that like average length after the initial program for most of our clients would be 18, 24 months. Those that went past that tended to systemize the experience. So what I mean by that is you could be great personality and this and that. Hands up if you're doing like, I don't know, over 25 sessions a week right now. Hands up if you're doing over 30 sessions a week. Yeah? Who's doing like 35-ish? Yeah, 40? Yeah, okay. It's 2 weeks in to your client starting. You should be booking in a 30 to 60 minute coffee across the road. Right? Now, why is that? The meeting should be designed where, and actually if I kind of come back to it here, you're asking them questions about basically how they're enjoying the program, and doing it not just on the fly as a session, right? Like actually taking a fucking notepad or computer or whatever it is, or your phone, and actually sitting down with them, having a coffee, asking things like, what is the favorite thing you're enjoying about this program? What could I do? What could I do to provide you with more value? And I'm a big boy or big girl, big fucking blind, right? Like you're spending a lot of money. If you don't open up and tell me, I can't help you. So it's all about basically getting, because sometimes as well, people don't necessarily want to give feedback in here, right? They might want to just sit in a off-site where it's not as noisy, where the music's not on, and just have a chat with you as an adult, right? And that's just basically helping you to build trust and basically getting them to check in with you. The second meeting that we used to do was 6 weeks in, so day 42, and that was pretty much where we want to see like what type of results have they gotten over the first 6 weeks. Like they came in at 30% body fat, and over the next when they came in and you did that initial consult, 3 months after that they wanted to be at 22% body fat, or whatever, right? They've come in 6 weeks in, they should technically be halfway towards that goal. So we will our team will generally do that after they've done the assessments and whatnot. And that is generally the first time when you start to mention, like long term, what are they looking at doing, right? Initially, you're not like 2 weeks in, you're not saying, oh, are you going to stay on? Like, fuck, I don't know, I just started, dickhead. 6 weeks in now, they've been training with you, you build a relationship. That's when you can kind of layer it in. So like, what are your thoughts moving forward? Obviously we train Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m. Especially coming into, I know you're on what's the initial program length here? 16 weeks? 12. Okay, yeah. So I know that we're booked in at 7 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for the next 6 weeks, but obviously coming into summer, like these slots are high. Have you thought about what you want to do? Now note, I didn't say, do you want to fuck? I said, have you thought about wanting to fuck? Right? There's a difference. Right? I haven't put it on them yet. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Right? So it's basically value to provide. And behind that value will generally come from two things, right? It will come from your skills, right? And then your experience. So 5 years in the industry, learning all this stuff. So it's like, everyone here has put up their hand saying they do have value to provide. I guess my point is don't be, afraid's not the right word. I just think sometimes we just discount how much you can actually help us.
High risk, high reward, as you say.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? What's one takeaway?
I feel like more about confidence with discipline in everything that we do. socials with our clients and in placing systems for all of them?
It's just process, and sometimes people look at systems like, oh fuck, like that's some big thing, like I'm not necessarily organised, blah blah blah. Like anything that I kind of use in my businesses or life, a lot of them I've just kind of taken playbooks that other people have already fucking done. Well, okay, I like 60% of that. I'm going to tweak the other 40%. Now it's my playbook, right? So a lot of the information's out there. But I think also, again, you know, coming back to what you were saying before, from your standpoint too, like confidence comes from skills. Skills comes from learning, right? You mentioned before you've invested all this time and money into courses, so you've acquired a unique amount of IP, right? Which gives you a unique amount of skills. You've been in the industry for, I think you said 3 years?
4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah. You've also got a decent amount of experience now, so like, fuck, corner. You deserve it, right? And that's actually, coming to this third point, longevity. A lot of trainers peak at this kind of 2 to 3 or even 4 to 5 year mark, right? For a few reasons. What we've just spoken about, no fucking systems. What we also spoke about, no fucking brand. And there's no planning. You just expect, because you've been doing the same shit for the last 3 to 4 years, that your clients will stay with you. It doesn't always work out that way. You know, and I find the trainers that kind of get to the 10 years, if I was to kind of assess what you guys have done, like in terms of self-development or YouTube or Google or all of the different uncomfortable environments that you put yourself in, you probably have going to done that more than a lot of people that have been in for 3 to 5 years. This day, right, in 2010. This day from 2008 to 2011, I think I would have spent $250,000 to $300,000 on my education. Right? But you know what the correlation was? All the investment in a pre-social era meant that I had CEO of Macquarie Bank, billionaires from the eastern suburbs, competitors before competing was a thing, coming to me because I'd learned, I traveled around the world learning. I'd acquired these unique skills that no one else fucking had, or very few had. And then because I had some experience, I was able to translate those skills. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, fucking comp prep coach, a CEO coach, a trainer educator, like training models, doing all this shit, right? And it literally all came just because I was like, you know what, I'm going to allocate X amount of my income every year to learn. Now these days, actually, you don't even really need to do it as much. You can just fucking go on YouTube, right? Like, or social or whatever that might be, right? The way that you manage your time. You know, I've had to learn, like I've got 7 kids, right? Multiple businesses. I've had to learn to become really fucking efficient with my time, right? But that, again, if I was to go back to Daine here, that guy's like that guy up on the screen, I'm like, fuck yeah, man, like 98 kilos, 6% body fat, awesome. But he could not fucking handle where I'm at now. He'd crush under that pressure. He'd give it a go, but he didn't have the skills to do that, right? And he doesn't have the skills to do that because young Daine only spent all his time on trying to become the GOAT of coaching, right? Rather than just becoming the GOAT of life. And that's my thing there. Like I say with the greatest level of respect, take fucking ownership of your career. Don't just expect the team here to, right? Come to Clean Off Live this year. Other than that, thank you for the time, guys.
Thank you.
But before I wrap up, I guess, you know, who has any questions? Like, does anyone want to ask any questions, etc.? How about you?
I think just confidence. I know I'm a good coach and I just need to just go for it. And
Wear it.
Fly. Yeah.
Fucking own it, wear it. Like, be it, embody it. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, I've done this, what I'm doing now, all around the world. Like, I've spoken in front of, 100,000 coaches over the last 2 days, like a lot, right? And, you know, I always look at like in brands like this, like, you know, from a leadership perspective, where's the leadership coming from? In this case, these two, right? And so knowing these two, the time, effort, and energy that they put into things, like Jenny will tell you a lot about the team that they attract, because you know, whether you believe in serendipity or not, whatnot, like we tend to attract people that resonate with us. Yeah. And so in this environment, like you guys are ahead. Like, who here? Does anyone here journal? Only the chicks put their hands on.
Also because I think sometimes we all suffer from imposter syndrome, and that's when
I still suffer from it. I still suffer from it at times.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, you know, it just, you know, now when I sit in fucking boardrooms with investment bankers and fucking this and that, like, I'm like, oh, how did I end up here? Like, you still will deal with that. But coming back to journaling, like anyone that has heard that kind of knows me knows it's a massive part of kind of what I'm about. And I think like one simple exercise you could do is like, I don't set goals, I set intentions. So the difference between that, a goal is something I'm chasing, like, oh please, can I fucking achieve this? An intention is something that's already fucking happened. Like the goal is over here, and intention's actually behind me, i.e. it's happened, I haven't stepped into it right now in this reality, right? So it's like, I'm very big with intentions. It could be something simple as like, you mentioned, out of your clients right now, what's the name of someone that you wake up and you're like, fuck, I really enjoy training this person?
All of them. But Natalie.
Okay. I'm abundantly grateful for waking up every day and training people exactly like Natalie from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. every single day. You know, no more than 5 times a week or whatever it is. So again, you're now condensing the time that you're putting into it. So we've now set the type of person that we want to do with. We've set the time that we want to work in, and then the length of time. Whilst receiving no less than whatever your financial intention is, you know, per week by no later than, attach a deadline to it, i.e. And so when you set intentions, this could be your current state, and this could be your future state, right? Literally written this shit down. Like I'm going to show it with Jesse, shit that I've written in my journal from last year that is literally fucking happening right now. Literally, you know who got me onto this? Charles Bolton. Full macho fucking dude, right? Who you wouldn't think this would come from, and a lot of people think that with me too. But it's kind of that where your attention goes, energy flows. So I think sometimes like we have these intentions, we have these thoughts, but like sometimes you just got to let it out of the system, put it on something, look at it, feel it, live in it, you know. And I've found for me it can increase the probability of it happening. So I appreciate you guys. Again, you know, you guys are busy. Add you on Insta, happy to help anytime. And hopefully we'll see some of you guys with Amy and Jono at Clean Off Live later this year.
Yes.
Melbourne tonight. He's off to Europe, but he said he'd give me a shout when he's back. Anyway, everyone well.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and I realised that when I hit
I'm like building something else.
But also I feel like we say this to our clients, but we don't hear it ourselves. So sometimes we need reminders.
That's why I say like it's reassurance that we're doing things well. Like I don't like sales, but I'm doing well.
Yeah.
It's like I don't like it, but
yeah. But just having that confidence.
It was hard.
Yeah.
But also,
Get that content.
Bring that brightness down.
Exposure down. Wait, this is lit.
yeah. And it's why like I don't like it.
I was like, what?
Can you fit us all? Yeah, maybe.
Awesome. Alrighty, everyone looking over here, guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Everyone say Acero. Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.